Field trials involving genetically modified insects should be carried out in the UK for the first time, a report argues. Tests outside the laboratory have never been carried out in the European Union amid safety concerns. But a Lords Committee report said trials should now start in Britain. Creating GM mosquitoes could help wipe out deadly tropical diseases such as malaria and dengue fever, the report said. Anti-GM campaigners say trials involving insects with altered DNA could pose risks to human health, and could lead to diseases becoming more virulent. However, the Lords Science and Technology Committee said GM insects could be used to control the spread of deadly illnesses as well as for pest control on crops. The report warned that dengue, which can kill and causes 390 million infections each year in tropical countries, could become more common in Europe. In recent years the disease has struck in France and Croatia. The report said that the British government should allow tests on GM insects to go ahead, and overcome resistance at the EU level against trials of GM organisms. Supporters of the technology want to introduce GM insects to the environment with altered DNA which can affect their offspring when they reproduce. They can be bred to prevent them carrying diseases such as malaria or dengue fever by introducing an infertile gene to sterilize the insects, or modifying harmful traits over time. Report findings. GM insects have considerable potential to control insect-borne disease and agricultural pests, but they are no silver bullet. UK is a world leader in this area of research, and could reap potentially significant economic benefits. EU regulation of GMOs is failing lamentably, and risks squandering these benefits. A lack of international guidance on regulation and governance of GM insect technologies could affect the countries who may benefit from these technologies the most. GM trials in the spotlight. While today's report from the Lords Select Committee argues for a green light for trials with genetically modified insects, support for GM crops is still divided. In June, results of one of the most high-profile GM trials in the UK were published. Scientists developed a variety of genetically modified wheat designed to be resistant to insect pests without the need for powerful, but increasingly ineffective, insecticide sprays. The Whiffy wheat from Rothamsted Research was engineered with genes from peppermint, in order to make it more resistant to aphids, tiny green and black flies which feast on the crops. The trials received millions in research funding from the government, mostly due to the need for fencing and security, and were met with resistance from anti-GM campaigners. The GM wheat was modified to release a smell, an insect alarm pheromone, which would drive away aphids. However, the results showed that the plants did not repel the pests as expected. Rothamsted researcher Dr. Toby Bruce said, "In science, we never expect to get confirmation of every hypothesis. Often it is the negative results and unexpected surprises that end up making big advances. Penicillin was discovered by accident, for example. This trial has ended up yielding more questions than answers, but that means we have more work to do to understand the insect-plant interaction and to better mimic what happens in nature."